We have 10 that we were greatly surprised by. We were expecting very little from them, and turns out they're delicious. Hi friends, I'm Laura, this is Troy, we're Baker Drinks, and these are the 10 bottles that surprised us the most this year.
Usually there's a lot of hype behind some bottles. There's some annual releases that you look forward to, and then some that you just find sitting on the shelf and you give it a try, and you're just pleasantly surprised, sometimes blown away. These were the 10 that did it for us this year for various reasons. The first one on the list, it's the Wild Turkey Jimmy Russell's 70th anniversary. This was about a $50 bottle for us. It's 8-year-old Wild Turkey. Honestly, I was expecting it to be just a fancy Wild Turkey 101, and I guess you could say it is. It's really fancy though. The flavor of this, in both of our opinions, and Laura's not a Wild Turkey fan, and I'm not a Wild Turkey 101 fan, more along the lines of a Russell's or a Russell's Pick flavor, in my opinion. Definitely not the 101 line, even though it's the same mash bill.
Next, I've got the James E. Pepper Barrel Proof. This is the decanter. It's beautiful. Basically, I just thought it was going to be a pretty whiskey that was okay. But turns out it was a pretty whiskey that tastes pretty dang good, and it had a good price. It was about $60, and definitely surprised by the flavor. I don't know anything. I still don't really know anything about this brand, but I like what's in the bottle, so that's the important thing.
So last week we told you about a Maker's Mark bottle that just missed the mark for us. This week we're going to talk about a Maker's Mark bottle that kind of blew us away. It's the Lost Recipe Edition 1. This brought the mocha stave out of retirement. Basically, the Lost Recipe is a bunch of these recipes that nobody has ever chosen as a single barrel pick. I think this is a Costco exclusive, coming in at about $70, and man, blown away by the flavor in this bottle.
Next, I've got the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is the C batch from this year. We had talks that we were going to stop buying Elijah Craig Barrel Proof because we've been more and more disappointed with them lately, and we have been less disappointed with the Larceny, which is cheaper. So it's like, well, might as well just get the cheaper one and just be done with the Elijah Craig. But, you know, we picked this up because it was a good price, and it tastes like what I expect it to taste like. It's weird to be surprised by something tasting like what it's supposed to taste like, but they've been disappointing, and this one isn't disappointing. So we've got that going for it, and I guess we'll probably keep picking them up.
So here's another one of those bottles that the internet was losing their mind over. It was sold as the George T. Stag Killer. It won Best of Show in the Ascot Awards. It's the Smokey Hill Barrel Proof. I found this online for about $80. I got it home. I was expecting to be disappointed because when something is touted as the George T. Stag Killer, you know it's not going to be. So I was more expecting to be disappointed with this bottle. Pulled the trigger anyways. Got it home, and Laura and I tasted this. And at first it was okay, but not great. It took about 2-3 weeks after the bottle was opened, and this turned into something really special. It's still not a George T. Stag Killer, but this Smokey Hill, something about that blue corn mash bill, it changes the viscosity, it changes the flavor slightly. This is a fantastic whiskey. I think the SRP has gone up $20-$30 since we bought this because of the hype and everybody chasing them down. If you had a chance to get one of these, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not had a chance to get one of these, good luck, because it is great whiskey.
This next one, plenty of people talk about the bourbon, the double oaked bourbon from Peerless, but we got the double oaked rye. We really didn't know a whole lot about this bottle. People don't really talk about it that much. They talk about the bourbon. I mean, the bourbon is the one everyone's looking for. They're like, oh my gosh, I found a double oaked bourbon from Peerless. Well, we found the double oaked rye, and we wanted to try it because we consider ourselves rye guys. You know, we like rye whiskey. So why not try the double oaked version? And somehow Troy got this for cheaper than like their own Peerless website sells it for. So that was a good deal. Surprise number one. Positive. Number two, it tastes like a cream soda or something. It's got this cream soda note to it that's amazing. So didn't know what to expect because we really haven't heard anything about it, and we were pleasantly surprised.
This is a Woodenville product that came out in 2024 that we were just pleasantly surprised with. It's the Founder's Find. It's a whiskey from a bourbon mash, and they talk about how they used barrels that they recharred or reconditioned and recharred, and there was some issues with selling it that the TTB kind of shut them down. So it hid in the back of a warehouse for 12 years. And the people at Woodenville found it and tasted it, fell in love with it. They brought it back to Washington, blended it with some 15-year whiskey, and put out the Founder's Find. This is fantastic. $139, same price as the 8-year. And this is twice the whiskey.
So Kluke as a brand, I knew nothing about last year. We took a chance, we bought a bottle, and it ended up being my favorite bottle of the year. So this year we found a Kluke. This is their Toasted Rye Batch 3, and I was a little nervous about it, not gonna lie. A little bit nervous because I don't love toasted products in general. It's not really my go-to flavor profile. A lot of times it just kind of, it tastes like burnt wood to me, which makes sense, I guess. But I don't always get that sweetness that everyone's just like, oh, it's so sweet. It's I get the other end of it. And this one did not come across that way to me. It tastes sweet and delicious and rye, and Caleb did it again. They're just making me want to buy all their bottles. And I was pleasantly surprised and happy that we made this purchase.
Okay, as the list moves on, the bottles get more expensive, which the apprehension was elevated. We had this bottle presented to us, $186, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we had to think about it. We thought about it for quite a while and then decided to pull the trigger. It's the Murray Hill Club Special Release Batch 4. We didn't have high expectations, although we were told it was good and we trusted the people, so we tried it. There is so much good flavor in this bottle.
Fruit syrup is basically what's in that bottle.
This is a blended bourbon that was finished in Calvados, which is an apple brandy, if you're not familiar with that. And man, is this just decadent, syrupy, just amazing flavor. Honestly, this is probably, if we did a whiskey of the year in a finished category, this would probably be the one that took it. It's that good.
So the last one on our list, we didn't purchase, we were gifted it, but we were still surprised with it. That's the Westward Milestone Batch 2. It's got such a crazy amount of flavor for it not being that high a proof. I mean, it's less than 100 proof. We got 97 proof. I would not guess that based on the amount of flavor in there. The price on this is a bit insane. There's a possibility I wouldn't be as giddy about it if we paid that $250 price, but the whiskey inside is still absolutely fantastic. I could not find anything bad to say about it other than that it's a $250 bottle.
I mean, we're not just saying this is a good bottle because it was gifted to us. It's a good bottle because it's a good bottle. The bonus is that it was gifted to us. So thanks, Westward. Thank you guys for watching us talk about whiskey.
So let us know what whiskeys you were surprised about. You weren't expecting something out of it, but you tried it anyway, or, anything. What surprised you about a whiskey? Let us know. We love reading the comments, and it's crazy because we forget about things that surprised us back in February, and then people remind us in the comments. So like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.